Uno.
Empezamos en 2 minutos.
Silencio, por favor.
Existe un estereotipo que la gente mexicana somos muy sentimentales.
¿Por qué vas a cumpleaños de alguien que te cae mal?
Sí, pero él no dijo eso.
A ver.
Te tienes que conectar real, güey.
Obviamente es verdad.
Nuestro círculo social es muy chico. Todos nos conocemos.
Oye, está tomando y se mete con el toro.
¡Wow! ¡Robbie!
Si lo matan es su problema.
Tengo muchas broncas en mi vida que van a salir.
Tengo una puja de $35,000.
Ese es el castillo de mi abuelito. Llevo muchos años modelando,
Pero es muy contradictorio a lo que yo soy aquí adentro.
I have a fashion blog. The aspiration I give off.
Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to continue talking about leadership and racism, but in a different perspective. As you know, movies and series are often said to be the reflection of the civilization, so we decided to choose a Netflix popular series called Made in Mexico to relate it to the main topic of this video. In case you haven't seen it yet, well, it's like a reality show that consists on presenting the lifestyle of 9 different famous people that belong to a high social group. So we can say that they have a really good status and position in the Mexican society. Where the protagonist's thoughts are that the fame is the fragrance of heroic deeds. Knowing this, we can say that the main characteristic or the common characteristic is that they all have is that they belong to an exclusive social circle that most of the Mexicans can be part of them. However, it had caused a quite bit of controversy and especially negative comments on social media because most of the Mexicans do not feel that they really represent the life of many of us. On the contrary, they think it's like a joke. Why? Because they only focus on presenting the materials that they can afford, the events they attend, their luxury travels, and the absurd problems that people with a lot of money have to go through. We think it's a reflection of racism and classism that is still present in Mexico, and we haven't noticed about it because it's a very distant reality that many Mexicans couldn't reach. For example, in the series, they have people that help them with the tasks of the house, and they have to wear uniforms so they don't be confused with a member of their family. So this is like a really classist act to do. The interesting thing about this series is that it tries to give you a new way of seeing Mexican society, for example, for other countries or other people, for other cultures that they watch the series, they can have, we think, a wrong way of seeing our society because they are seen like in a materialistic way where money and the color of your skin are very important since they define you your position in the society.
My group and I chose a series called Made in Mexico. The series came out last year and many people had negative comments about it because it only represents a minimum percentage of all Mexican society. It pictures how wealthy the families of the cast are, and they only talk about luxuries and material things. And for example, it's shown that they're invited to gala events where they wear luxurious outfits, which most of the society in Mexico cannot afford. All of the cast members are rich, and they only talk about themselves and the problems that are developed and discussed in the TV series, which are irrelevant to a lot of people in the country. The series first starts by interviewing the cast and asking them why they chose to be part of this program. All of them say that they're what Mexican society represents, which is wrong and really misunderstood. The cast members say that this program was created as an opportunity to show and represent their country, but that is false because they only show the wealthy and luxurious parts of Mexico, which is less than the 5% of the Mexican population. This show represents what classism and racism in Mexico is. None of the cast members are people from medium or lower class, and the ones that are shown in the program are the people who work for them. For example, the domestic workers, the waiters at the restaurants, their chauffeurs, etc. The only focus in this program was the high society, and because of that, we can see how our country is divided by high and lower class.
We have been talking about racism in Mexico City. There are thousands of movies, documentals, TV shows, articles, and also biography of Mexican people that has been discriminated or disvalued only for the way they look. Especially talking about the TV show named Made in Mexico, in which it is shown that racism and discrimination are always part of the lives of some Mexican citizens and how people are victims of discrimination. Made in Mexico, it's a reflect of the racism and classism we live on this city, but it's based in the elite part of the society, in which they have shown all the problems that exist in their perfect lives. But this kind of message doesn't leave nothing good to Mexican society. If we really want to generate a change, the movies, TV shows, and all productions that will be created need to stop putting masks to what is really happening and face the truth. What we mean with the truth, actually, Made in Mexico TV show doesn't show the reality of Mexican population. It mocks Mexican, it denigrates us because a bunch of people talking about wealth and showing us how they flitted away the money is just a novel. Mexican people, no matter in what socioeconomic level you are, we all share same things like our passion or our love for tacos. The history of the last 30 years from the earthquake of '85 has shown that Mexican society is always in solidarity in the face of crisis, forgetting the class differences, which shows us that then there is no racist roots because in general Mexican society in its vast majority is made up of mestizo individuals, with very few pure indigenous and pure European minorities. This can be seen, for example, in something that happens every day, as a soccer game or a bullfight, where all Mexicans live together to celebrate or suffer our hobby. Therefore, we need more films that unite us through our tradition, such as the case of Coco movie, where it is shown that all Mexican, no matter what postal code you have or the state of the republic you live, we all celebrate the Day of the Dead, the national holidays, or the Passion of Christ as Easter. Our traditions are universal, and the best way to end with classism and discrimination is to share with the world through movies, documentals, or any means of communication that all Mexicans celebrate and enjoy equally our traditions. That's what keeps us together, no matter which skin color you have. The Mexican spirit is unique, and we should never abandon that. We Mexicans are good as gold.
At this part of the video, we will try to focus on solutions that can be found in movies to end with racism and classism. As we all know, there's a specific type of look seen in a lot of Mexican films. Lower class people are almost always shown with darker skin as vulnerable people, representing poor families from lower socioeconomic backgrounds. They are rarely used by films to represent an inspirational or desirable lifestyle. And rich class people with white skin, with an unaffordable life, but that's not the reality. That's not the typical people you had see walking down the streets. That's why we think that films must tread carefully if they try to tackle this issue head on, because these films are the ones that create a racist and a classist society in Mexico. Mexican films could help by changing the way they represent Mexican society, by showing different types of lives in our country, by showing the real Mexican society. We think that it will be a very important contribution in force people who work in films and TV to look themselves in the mirror of a Mexican racism. Because we recognize the power of movies and series nowadays. That's why we think that we should use this power to
educate and form a respectful society. Part of education includes reading books and watching documentaries, but watching fictional movies or dramatizations of real stories can be equal as illuminating. There should be more Mexican movies about racism. They should watch to educate ourselves.